Let's Talk Bitcoin listeners, it's now time for The Startup. The Startup is a show featuring the founders of new companies. We want to discover how they took an idea and transformed it into a marketable product or service. Starting a business is challenging and rewarding. Our goal is to gain insight into the mind of entrepreneurs on their journey to success. This interview is being video recorded. The link will be provided in the show notes. Welcome to The Startup. On this episode, I interviewed Doug Scribner. He is the CEO of WatchMyBit.com. How you doing, Doug?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here.
So can you tell our listeners, what is WatchMyBit.com?
So WatchMyBit is just that. It is a way for artists to record video, upload video, much like YouTube, except it's got a Bitcoin start button, we like to say. It can be compared to YouTube in that people upload videos, but they can monetize them not through advertising, but through Bitcoin. So that's kind of in a nutshell what it is. It allows a lot of other cool features I can go into a little bit later. But basically it is a YouTube-like service, except instead of advertising, people watch and launch videos with Bitcoin.
Okay. So just listening to this, it seems like it appealed definitely to content creators because they create content and they have to go to these other services like like you mentioned, a YouTube or Vimeo, and it's advertising based. They really don't earn enough for their content. So with this product, it seems like it's well suited to have to give content creators the ability to, make a living or at least get some type of funds that's equitable for the time that they put in.
Yeah, we like to point out that YouTube pays their creators between $6 and $60 for 10,000 views. That's a lot of views it's a lot of views and it's not a lot of money. $6 to $60. And it, of course, depends on so many factors. Do people watch the full ad? Are they full partners? The ratios and formulas that YouTube uses is proprietary and secret. You don't really know what you're going to get. WatchMyBit, we pass 75% of all income to the artist. So if someone got 10,000 views on our platform and they were charging 21 cents per view, that artist would get $1,500 more than that.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds a lot better for the content creator. Right. But for the users, how will the users go about getting fans to come to WatchMyBit?
Well, we kind of think the model is going to be different. They're not going to come to WatchMyBit. The creator is going to socialize out the link. And our website, is here, and you can certainly search for videos in our search bar. And you can certainly come to a video here. You can click on it. Here's John Bush's Sovereign Living, episode 2. Clicking on it brings up a paywall. But I think John Bush, in this case, as the artist, the guy who made Sovereign Living, the series, he's going to more likely grab the link, like any web link, send that to Facebook, use Twitter to broadcast that out. And when people click on it, they'll come to this paywall. They're not going to come to WatchMyBit.com. They're going to come to John Bush's episode 2 here for Sovereign Living. In that sense, WatchMyBit is in the background. It's invisible. It's just a service that slaps a Bitcoin paywall on top of a video.
Okay, now you speak of paywall. For our listeners that's not familiar with that term, can you just explain what a paywall is?
Yeah, certainly. Basically, it is a block. It's like, hey, you can't watch this content until you pay something. Now, in the past, paywalls have been advertising. That's a paywall in a way. You have to watch this ad before you get to the content. Sometimes you can skip the ad. Sometimes you don't. Another way is you have to have a subscription before you can see the content. There are a few newspapers that offer a subscription service out there, and there are other subscription services. For example, Netflix. In a way, that's a paywall. You can't watch our video until you have a subscription. Our model is pay per view. It hasn't really been done that much because without Bitcoin, it's pretty tough to be able to charge something small like 9 cents for a video, 21 cents for a video. Only Bitcoin makes that possible. So that's pretty cool. So we're looking at a paywall right now that's charging 99 cents. But if I pop over to this sitcom called Scribes, it is charging 21 cents. And all you do is scan the QR code and the video launches. No credit cards, no PayPal, no email. Just scan the QR code with a Bitcoin wallet on your phone. Video launches.
Okay. So I was listening to one of John's episode of Sovereign TV, and he was advertising his series, and he provided a link in the show notes. If I go and click on the show notes, it'll take me to his page where I have the paywall there. It shows the QR code. I would then take my wallet out, my Bitcoin wallet, scan the QR code, and it automatically grabs the price and pre-populates the price in my wallet. And I just hit send, and within 20 or 30 seconds, I'll actually be watching the movie.
Exactly right. It works really well. And it actually will launch faster depending on various factors. But yeah, about 30 seconds, it'll launch.
20, 30 seconds. That's great. Now, in our pre-interview, we were talking a little bit about the split option that you have. So say, for instance, John has a crew. He has a couple of people that were contributing content, and let's just say John was charging 50 cents for his particular episode. How could he split up those payments?
WatchMyBit allows unlimited splits, which is really a powerful thing. And the example we're using here is John Bush and his production company, and maybe his charity or his nonprofit foundation, maybe himself, and maybe some of the other actors or people who were in the show. He can split with them multiple ways. All it requires is their Bitcoin addresses. He creates a split on the back end of our website, and if someone watches that video, 50 cents, they split it. 20%, 20%, 30%, 1%, 2%, however they want.
So you're saying the accounting and the splitting of this is all provided by your service?
Absolutely. And the accounting and the bookkeeping and the lawyering even, perhaps.
Well, good. Now, give me a couple other use cases that you think that WatchMyBit has a great application for.
There's a couple ways of monetizing video, and a couple new models are created that didn't exist before. The one we just talked about, I like to talk about the band, right? You can have a band. We've got 5 guys in the band. Instead of arguing about who gets paid when, the split automatically. Keyboard, guitar, bass, drummer, lead singer. But hey, management gets in there too, right? So now we suddenly have possibilities where artists, what are they called? Artist relations or artists, like ASCAP and BMI. What are those organizations?
Right. Performance rights organizations.
Performance rights organizations, right. There's always been a problem. How do performance rights organizations get paid overseas in countries that don't enforce those when streaming or purchasing a video online? Well, now performance rights organizations can be part of the split. The management can be part of the split. The attorneys can be part of the split. You know, whoever is there. Maybe we have a partner called Domo Records, and they would have artists on our platform, and perhaps Domo Records is getting paid for the production of the video. For the first year, their video production payment has been paid, so now the split goes just to the artists, for example.
Okay.
Or the agents, or a charity, which is a fun other thing to do too. Now the charity, maybe it's John's Outpost, maybe it's Susan G. Komen, but now they're going to be pimping your video because they're getting a split.
Great. Now, with the split, once it's set, can it ever change at any point in the future, the way the splits are divided? How the percentages of the splits, can they be changed after the fact?
They can be changed after the fact, right? Whoever has access to the account can change the split. So if management has access to the account, maybe the guitar player quit, he's in rehab or whatever. We got a new guitar player coming in. We can add the new guitar player into the new split on the fly at a later date. I like to give the example of maybe the video is up there, and for the first 3 months, 50% goes to pay off the editor or that kind of thing. And then after that is paid off, there's an agreement where, hey, now we're going to split it differently. And that split can be implemented as soon as those arrangements need to be changed.
Can you tell us a little bit about the variety of content that you have up?
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. We do not have a big variety of content at this point. We're a startup, we're fresh, we're new. But some of the content we do have, Bitcoin Girl, Naomi Brockwell. She is a performer, an artist, an opera singer. You can actually go to our site here and just type in, girl. The interview with Naomi Brockwell that I did at Coins in the Kingdom. a very fun interview. In fact, if you click on it, there's a free preview. Bob and Rob. This video right here is called Scribes. It is a never-before-seen sitcom with Jane Lynch and Danny Trejo before they became really big household names. They did a sitcom. Well, that sitcom has never been seen before until now. So there's one case where we've got a great sitcom. We've got Sovereign Living.
Okay, now when you say Rob and Bob, you named those two actors. I'm not familiar with what movies were they in?
Well, Bob and Rob are the producers and writers of the show called Scribes.
Okay.
Jane Lynch won an Emmy for Glee. And Danny Trejo, the guy in the middle there, Machete, he's that tough guy. Machete, he's full of tattoos, and he's had cameos in Breaking Bad. He's done the movie Machete, Machete 2, and several other places. He's very recognizable. They got him to be in this movie. He had never done comedy before in this sitcom, and he worked for a great rate, and they have him in this video, and he's hilarious. It's his first comedy attempt, so it's really, really well done. Yep, so Sovereign Living TV is up here too. Episode 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3 are up there. And then episode 4 will be added in just a day. I just got the download now, so that's going up as well. And then John Bush will be doing a marketing push on his podcast and through his social media contacts to, hey, watch this video here. Here are the links to the videos. Pay the 21 cents to $1 or so, whatever it's charged, and that's going to go to fund episode 5 and 6. So that's another model. It's sort of a crowdfunding model.
What comes to mind is my father and we went to a Snarky Puppies concert last week, and they have this service that they're offering now that the next day they're recording the shows and providing the shows live downloads for their fans for a fee. But if they go through the traditional paywalls, PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, that's going to cost a lot more, and they couldn't offer it for, the 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents to their fans, even if they wanted to, because it's just cost prohibitive. So it sounds like this would be a good use case for what you're doing here.
Yeah, I agree. And they could even cut the video up song by song and offer those songs for 25 cents each, those videos for 25 cents each. It's the song they're more interested in. And maybe this song has a charity that goes here. This song's charity goes here. This song, there's all kinds of cool possibilities. And to even expand on that, the clubs where these bands play could have a deal and use WatchMyBit to their advantage. And this doesn't require our permission. People can just start using it as is. So the clubs might want to put the bands up there if they've got the video equipment and the audio equipment, and a lot of these clubs do now, these concert venues, they can put these bands up there themselves and have an agreement with the band that, hey, for the first 3 months, we're going to take 50%. You guys can take 50%. And after that, you guys can have more of it. Et cetera, et cetera. Just a way for all parties to monetize their income. And you and I know that with Bitcoin, you can change that into dollars and gift cards instantly these days. It's not even a priority. People say, well, I don't want Bitcoin. No problem. Change it to dollars or gift cards.
Right. So, Doug, let's talk a little bit about your team. What role, I know you play the CEO role, but what other roles do you play, and who are your team members?
Yep, I'm one of the founders, and I can tell that story too. We also have Oliver Goretzky, who is our CTO. He is really the workhorse behind WatchMyBit. I did some initial funding. I was an early Bitcoin adopter, so I did a lot of the initial funding, getting it launched, getting some consultants on board. But he really put his sweat and blood and tears into this, and hours and hours and hours in creating new protocols and connecting with the payment processors. And he had to learn Bitcoin from scratch. He'd never heard of it. Well, he'd heard of it just from me, but didn't delve into it as a programmer. So Oliver is our rock who has created the system and keeps it maintained. And we'll be adding new features, like we want to add PayPal micropayments, which are coming also. And Mark Hilgenberg is our CTO. He's CFO, Chief Financial Officer. He and I have been writing comedy together for years. Back with the Harry Brown campaign, we wrote some commercials for them. He's a financial planner, so he's on board as well as one of our founders. He's more of a visionary kind of guy and really intuitive and knows kind of like suggested a lot of the early features for artists because he's just one of those sort of guys. And then we have a couple other partners. Mark's brother is a screenwriter, producer, director at Disney. So he's an owner as well, an early founder. And then Domo Records is a 10% owner of WatchMyBit as well. And they'll be coming and having a bigger impact as time goes on here. I can't announce who it is, but we have a new investor, partner coming on board too. I can't say his name, but we will be at a couple of San Francisco conferences that he runs in the next coming months, dealing with music and finance.
All right, well, we're definitely going to be looking forward to that announcement. So right now, is WatchMyBit just only a desktop product?
It is definitely our mobile experience, frankly, terrible. I agree. If you're on a tablet, it's fine. Tablet, desktop, and laptops work absolutely fantastic. Mobile experience is one of the things we're looking for some funding to really finalize. We know that people consume video over mobile. That is something on our calendar, of course, here. But we wanted to do the proof of concept here with on the desktop and mobile or non-mobile platforms first. But yeah, coming along soon.
Okay. Is this your first startup, or have you run other startups before, or have you been partners of previous startups? Where do you fit along that path?
This is my first real startup. I've had businesses. I've been self-employed before, and I've had a partner, but it's nothing like this where we actually have shares and attorneys and contracts and that sort of thing.
Okay.
So my first startup. This is my first startup. Yep. And being my first startup, I am CEO, but that title, I don't need it. If we had some investors come along and says, we want to put someone else in as CEO, I'm fine with that. I really am. I mean, I've never done this before. So this is the first time for me. I've made mistakes. I'll make more. If we find some partners who want to come in and replace me as CEO, that's fine with me. I'll take a step down, be COO, for example.
Gotcha. It sounds like you're bootstrapping thing yourself. Have you done a friend and family round, or are you going to go more formal with approaching venture capitalists and trying to get Series A, multiple Series A rounds? How are you going to approach that process?
Yeah, that is where we're going. I self-funded it, still bootstrapping it, and I would say we are looking for angels and Series A. We have applied for a couple of places. We have a profile at the BitAngels site. They use what is it called? Oh, I forgot the name of the site that they're the platform they use now. But so we've got that open, and we have approached some investors in the past, and we have other ideas too. In fact, get a load of this one. We are writing a screenplay. So we are going to produce, like Netflix and Amazon, we're going to try to produce our own content as well. It'll be a web series that lightly mentions and shows Bitcoin in a very positive light, of course, but it'll be more on the romantic comedy realm side of things too. That's a possibility. If someone wants to fund that, I'd love to show them the script. Great.
Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but one of the other Let's Talk Bitcoin Network shows, Epicenter Bitcoin, they featured a guy named Simon Dixon. He's out of the UK, and he runs this VC firm to help cryptocurrency startups. It's called Bank to the Future.
Oh,
and so he partners with Max Kaiser, and so they have a Bitcoin fund, and there's other companies that go on there, and so they raise funds for startups that way. So that might be something that you're interested in.
Yeah, thank you. I heard that episode, and I'm going to pursue that.
The magic word for this episode is watch. That's WATCH. Go to letstalkbitcoin.com and enter it to receive your reward. Now we return to the interview. In terms of this being your first business, first startup, do you have a mentor in business, somebody that you can bounce ideas off, him or her, don't want to just assume it's a guy, that helped you through this process?
Did not. Went through it blind. First time.
Okay.
We did get an attorney who helped us. In fact, he's a cryptocurrency based attorney here in Minneapolis. Met him at some of the meetups. So he helped us with our incorporation, and he knows a bit about crypto and those sorts of things. So he's friendly to that. We have an accountant, apart from Mark, who is a crypto accountant. But apart from that, I've been going to some meetup groups. I've been trying to connect with some angels and some people there. But yeah, need a mentor. I could use one, actually.
That's pretty funny. Okay. Well, good. If any mentors are out there listening now, and then if you find Doug's platform compelling, we'll list his contact information in the show notes, and you can give him a call directly and see what comes out of it. Right. Absolutely. One of the things I wanted to ask you, Doug, was you spoke about the splitting with the service. Now, who actually processes your Bitcoin payments that you receive?
We have another partner, David Duccini, who runs Do a Bit of Good, which is an interesting project also. But he is our payment processor. So at this point, we rely on him to take our payments, put them through his payment processing system, which randomizes, and we do not post people's public Bitcoin addresses on the site. So a video, for example, on the site, the public Bitcoin address that you see up there is not the Bitcoin address that belongs to the artist. So we have a system of keeping that hidden. Click on this Rockerazzi video here from Kelly Swanson. Jared Segal here produces these videos. And here you see a Bitcoin address for those. I'll explain it. You click on manual. There's a Bitcoin address. That is not her Bitcoin address.
Okay.
So, David.
So using your service doesn't tie you to your identity to that particular video.
Exactly, right. So privacy is maintained. No one can look and see how much Bitcoin she has. So it works really well. Yeah, and that's provided through Do a Bit of Good in their services.
Now, in light of the recent events that we've heard lately about the advertising apps that have been allowed on some of the iOS devices, and I know that in the future you're going to have Android and iOS apps for the mobile experience. Do you think that is helping? Does that serve as a catalyst to kind of help WatchMyBit? Because are we at the beginning of seeing the death of, or maybe not the complete death, but a decrease in advertised-based content creation?
I think we're at the very beginning of it. And we are very early, too. I think it's going to change. Now, do you know the guy who invented the pop-up ad? I don't know if you remember that. He came out and apologized for it last year.
I did hear about that. Right.
Made a bunch of news. I can't think of his name offhand here. But he said at the time when the internet was brand new, they had no other way of monetizing content. So they looked at broadcast TV, commercials, and ads. At the time, the internet didn't have any sort of payment system until Bitcoin came along. So I think we're going to see more and more people choosing to pay small amounts of money for the content they want instantly, and not having to go through a subscription, not giving their name and address to Netscape and Google and Amazon, which is another benefit of our platform. We are sort of immune in some ways from hackers because we've got nothing to hack. We don't keep people's credit cards. We don't even ask for their real name. If they sign up to our service to upload content, we do ask for an email address because we've got to let them reset their password and a few things like that. Viewers, though, you can watch a video on our site without even having an account. The advantage of having an account on our site as a viewer is you can rate videos and you can leave comments. But yeah, we don't do advertising. We will never put advertising in front of a person's video, on top of their video. Our site might have sponsors eventually, but nothing to do with the artist's video. That is their video. They monetize it the way they want to. And by the way, they can certainly add advertising to their own video. That's fine, but we're not going to do it.
Understood. I was just going to ask you about your terms and conditions about that. So if a content user wanted to put in sponsors, ads, along with their videos, are they free? So you're saying they're free to do that?
Yeah, exactly right. They can do that all they want. We're not going to do it, but they can do it. Product placement, hey, they can do
Product placement. Okay.
If they got Coke to sponsor them, then they can drink Coke in their video all day long.
Okay, great. Now, is this project open sourced or is it closed source?
It's closed source. At this point, our secret sauce in the back end of the split engines and keeping people's Bitcoins addresses private is closed source. Yeah,
okay.
It's not something we're sharing at this point.
Let me ask you this then. Can you talk a little bit about the product roadmap going forward?
Yeah, I think going forward, our immediate need is for some funds to help us add PayPal micropayments. So that's one of the things we want to do because Bitcoin just isn't taking off at this point the way we hope. We're thinking we can be a catalyst to get more Bitcoiners becoming, more people becoming Bitcoiners through media and content. But at this point, we want to add PayPal. That's something that we want to get in there. That's something our partners want to see added quickly too. The next step is going to be mobile experience, a better mobile either app or just a site to be mobile friendly. And then after that, we can start talking about all kinds of things like streaming, and we mentioned BMI and ASCAP, finding ways of doing streaming like that. Streamium does that also, and that's going to be a big, they're an interesting project online too that we're watching closely. They're open source.
Would you consider them a competitor or no?
At this point, no, because they're still in beta. And they are really focusing on the peer-to-peer live, the one-to-one, where we are one-to-many.
Okay.
Now, they've got plans, and rightfully so, to explore one-to-many options and that sort of thing. And at that point, they might become a competitor. But, not at this point.
So for our users, what would you want to tell them in terms of how they can actually help or get their content out with WatchMyBit? Are there any promotional things that you all are doing, to lure content creators or?
Yeah, well, we just need to get the word out. We went to VidCon, which is the largest YouTube convention in LA in July. So we'll be back there next year probably too. It was our first time. So we're getting in front of big content creators and YouTubers. They're the ones who are going to have the big millions of fans and hundreds of thousands of views. And what we're going to do to entice them is we would say they're getting $500 a month through YouTube advertising. Well, if you put some of that content on our site, we would pay you $500. And then you might pay us back after you receive X amount of money from your fans through Bitcoin. You will make more money on our site than you will with YouTube. And we're willing to put some money to back that up.
Now, I know one of the challenges with this, it's how do you get Bitcoin in the hand of some of the prospective users? So can you address that a little bit?
Yeah, that is the challenge. I like to tell people our biggest selling point is Bitcoin and our biggest weakness is Bitcoin also. We have a couple ideas for bands or live performers, be it comedy or music. One concept is we partner with a group like Airbits. If in Southern California there's bands playing, the Airbits wallet, those people, they just hired some great new folks over there, MK Lords and Will Pangman, community managers. They will go to events to give away the wallet and get people signed up and give them some free Bitcoin. We'd like to also be there videotaping the bands backstage and do an agreement with the bands and say, hey, look, and the bands would tell their fans, we just did a backstage interview you cannot see except by going through the WatchMyBit link, and it costs Bitcoin. Hey, but guess what? They're giving away free Bitcoin to the Airbits wallet. Go over there and get your free Bitcoin. Boom. We just turned a stadium or a club's worth of people into Bitcoin users. They want to watch that band's video because they're big fans of that band. They're willing to pay for it. Airbits just gave them some free Bitcoin. So that's one way to get the churn going, And at that point later, the band can come out with new content, and maybe the fans, now that they have a wallet, will learn how to get Bitcoin on their own. And Airbits has announced they're going to be able to do selling Bitcoin within their wallet.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that'll be good for adoption. Definitely.
That would be fantastic. And that would solve our problem too. So we were relying on third-party people, third-party companies to introduce how to get Bitcoin, because that'll be a question people will have, and we'll have resources on our site eventually as well to point them those directions.
Okay. And you mentioned Airbits. Are you a part of their directory?
We're not, because we're not a physical location, but I'll have to talk to Paul about that, getting in there on their directory as, service. And they've actually helped us with some coding too on mobile stuff that we're going to be implementing. They really just helped us an awful lot, and we want to partner with them and pimp their wallet out. And
so tell the users how they can get in contact with you.
So Doug at WatchMyBit.com. That's the best way to get a hold of me.
Okay. How about on Twitter or Facebook?
Yep. At WatchMyBit is our Twitter handle. And then Facebook, we're on Facebook as well, WatchMyBit.
Well, Doug, again, thank you for your time on this. And we wish you much success in the future on WatchMyBit.
Sounds good. And let your audience know that they can see this video on WatchMyBit.com.
Thanks for listening. Content for this episode was provided by Doug and Michael. You can now find the startup in iTunes by searching for Michael Pear. If you have any feedback or suggestions for the show, please drop us a line. Also, if you're a founder of a startup and would like to appear on the show, please email us for an interview. That's all for now. Until next time.